Episode 29 of the Tool Bags Up Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian Caballero. I know things in the world aren't great right now, but I got to give a shout out to everyone that's really spoke out, that's really stood up to the cause, and has really unified here, us as a whole, as a nation. It's been great to see that on social media. A lot of positivity out there, and we'll get through these hard times. Joining me today is Justin Garcia, Sheehan Planas Arteaga, and Claudia Ruiz, my new team members and the new members of the Tool Bags Up Sports Podcast. What's up, guys?
What up?
What's going on, guys?
Hello.
So, some good news in sports today. NBA made it official. They are coming back. They struck a deal. They will be back on July 31st with 22 teams. So, little weird of a format. Obviously, they're going to be playing in a centralized location, which will be Orlando. There will be 22 teams, 13 coming from the Western Conference, 9 coming from the Eastern Conference. In order to be selected between these 22 teams, you had to be within 6 games of the number 8 seed in your conference. So, if you weren't, you aren't going to participate in this tournament. I thought it was cool because it kind of rewarded these teams that aren't really tanking. They're just not very good, and gave them an opportunity to make some extra money with revenue and stuff like that. But let me dive in here real quick and just summarize what's going to happen with these 22 teams. So they will be playing 8 regular season games, everybody. So reseeding will happen here. Where it's a little bit important is with the number 8 seed. So the number 8 seed doesn't get that automatic bid into the playoffs. If the number 9 seed per conference is within 4 games of the number 8 seed, they will actually play in a tournament. Now, where this is kind of intriguing is that the number 9 seed actually has an opportunity to knock out the 8 seed if they beat them twice. So they would play a game. If the number 8 seed wins, they would automatically go. If the number 9 seed wins the first game, they will play a second game. And if the number 9 seed wins the second game, they will go into the playoffs. A little bit confusing there. But I thought it was cool because it adds a little bit of incentive to these teams that are on the bubble of getting into the playoffs. So, Sheehan, I'm going to start with you since you're actually on the Zoom screen right now. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to start with you here. What were your thoughts on this proposal, man?
I love it. I mean, overall, there's really not much more I would have done. There's really not much I would have done differently. I think their biggest issue, I don't know what the protocol is for this. They're obviously going to be testing people regularly and making sure that, safety-wise, like they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's. But what if somebody tests positive? I mean, is that team just out?
That player is out.
That's my biggest question. But other than that, I mean, assuming, knock on wood, that everybody's safe, I love the format.
I mean, I like it too. It kind of reminds me like of AAU basketball, honestly. Like with the tournament, I think it gives a lot of teams that I didn't think would have a chance. And I'm a huge LeBron fan, so I think in a way the rest leading up to this is good for him. But I feel like with this tournament style, him being a little older, I could see how it can kind of hurt him. With all these games that they have to play and there's more teams in the playoffs and whatnot. But the thing that does kind of stand out to me, what I've been thinking about, is I think this really benefits like Kawhi Leonard, like that type of player, that type of guy who's always getting rest, and we criticize him for that. And now he has these months off, and now he gets his big break, and now he gets to come back in tournament style. You give him a little short span of him going ham. I could definitely see like the Clippers taking big advantage of this.
Well,
Clippers fan.
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Actually super, super excited because this year, since I follow the West, so on and so forth, I'm excited to see when Zion came back, what he did. And I'm really happy that the Pelicans are in. I do not understand how, Dame Lillard is 9 seed. So I think that that 8 and 9 seed, this it's going to be great to see, you know, the Pelicans and the Trailblazers to like what they do. Those are the two I'm the most excited to see to get into that 8 seed.
Yeah, so there's a lot of concern here with the health, obviously, like Sheehan had pointed out, as far as the coronavirus. Justin pointing out that the extra games might affect the top teams like LeBron and things like that. And then like Claudia, how you had said about the Trailblazers, this opens up an opportunity for them to actually get into the playoffs. I think they're way too talented to miss the playoffs. I would like to see that, a Trailblazers Lakers matchup there in the first round. I think for me, what I like about it is that it allows these players an opportunity to kind of like get back into rhythm, right? Get into shape, into game shape before the playoffs, because the last thing that you want is for like these guys to rush back in straight into the playoffs and then have like LeBron hurt his hammy or something, like that would suck, because then that would kill the whole idea here. But other than the concerns, like, is there something here that, like, other than, like, the coronavirus and potential injuries, is there any, like, downfall to this plan?
I feel like they're going to be, like, at least to me a little bit, it might be a little asterisk to, like, the champion, even if it is, like, LeBron. So, like, everyone knows that I'm a huge LeBron fan. I would love to see him win, because all the shit I'll be able to say if he wins. But even if he does win, I still think there would be like a little asterisk on it because of this, and and I just feel like if he loses, there would be like everyone would jump on it, but I feel like it's just not the same. There's teams that get a lot of momentum that last month of the season and what.
All right, but let's be real though. Wouldn't LeBron get criticized regardless whether he wins in 82 games?
Oh, 100%. If he wins or loses, it's gonna make him look terrible.
Well, LeBron can fucking do anything right in people's eyes.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to
fun.
reveal it if you have any biases, because if the team you like wins, you're going to say it counts, and if the team you don't like wins, you're going to say it doesn't count. So at least the normal sports fan, that's what they're going to go for. One thing I think it does hurt is the fans. I mean, if you're not one of the 22 teams, you weren't going to make any noise. But if you're a fan of one of those 8 teams, especially like the Warriors, with such a devout fan base, if you're a fan of one of those teams, I'd be bummed if my team was dumb. They're not going to make any noise, but I don't get to watch them anymore.
But let's be real. How many people were actual Warrior fans, or were they just fans for the time being? Because there was a lot of people that were Warriors fans the last 5 years that were also Heat fans the year before. And then before then, there were Celtics fans and Lakers fans. So, Claudia, your take on it?
Honestly, I'm not gonna have any downfall. I'm gonna stay positive, hoping that the testing is gonna be on point. Downfall, of course. I think that all these games with the rest that they've had are gonna be explosive. I feel like they're gonna be offensively explosive games, which are gonna be the most exciting ones to watch per se. And it would be the downfall. I guess would be if someone did get sick, like or if someone.
What happens then?
We don't know much of it, so. Is Gobert
that player, yeah.
The Jazz is what, like 4th or 5th seed in the West. They were the ones that were like the explosion of it. Like, what happens now with that one person? And God forbid it would be on. But that affects 100%. It doesn't make the playoffs because it's not an injury either. It is an illness that came out of poof.
Yeah, that could ruin your whole odds.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most exciting part is to see a lower seeded team be able to make noise, Like, I remember when the Warriors, when they had Baron Davis and they went and beat the number 1 seed Mavericks. Like, it was such a big deal because it doesn't happen all the time, and we've never seen that in the NBA. So I actually had forgotten about Zion Williamson, with the Pelicans. That is huge. A guy who everyone raves about. He came on super late. And he made a lot of noise, and people were saying that he could do even more than what he's shown. So it's like exciting to see that kind of team, the Blazers, and them see what can they do. And even the Nets, there's talks about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant is one of those players that he's kind of like in that LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, where you put them anywhere, they could kind of win. They could win. Like. If Kevin, which I don't think he will be 100%, so I think it's kind of like an idea. But if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are on the court, I think they can beat anybody. Like,
there were so
honestly.
many injuries too that, people, that would have probably, right now we were going to start the finals. I think today the finals were supposed to start. All of these people coming back from injuries that really, really, we weren't going to see in the playoffs. So now we have players that are no longer injured. Like the Wizards, they're the 9th seed, but I think coming back, that's going to impact them tremendously. Beal is coming back, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of noise, I think Justin mentioned noise. I am so excited to hear the games because you're probably going to be able to hear all the shit talking. The stuff that gets drowned out by the crowd, you're going to be able to hear every single bit of it. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, so I had a guest on here a couple of weeks ago that talked about that it's going to be super weird because you're going to be, for the first time, hearing the players just talk, like communicate with each other, like, hey, screen, and that's going to have some type of effect, right? Like the way that you view the game, because you're used to just the crowd hearing, chanting defense or whatever. It's going to be like such a different feel. Let me talk about that real quick. Let me ask you guys here, because that has to have effect on these athletes, man. Like, you, especially in the game of basketball, say you're down 8, you're trying to get in a groove, like you feed off the crowd, and now it's like you don't have that. And another point would be like, there's no home field advantage in these tournaments. So you're all playing in the same centralized location, 0 fans, so it's just mano a mano, bro. Like literally, like you're playing basketball at the gym, right? How could that possibly, if any, have an effect on how the playoffs turn out?
I mean, I think that's huge with momentum and adrenaline. I mean, we could see the UFC fights. How many times did you see the Warriors when they were rolling on a run? The crowd is going crazy. I promise you, Steph Curry did not miss a 3. When they were on a run, they would get a rebound, he would shoot it, and the crowd was getting louder and louder. And it was like, I feel like he never missed a 3 in momentum. Watching all those finals and those playoff runs, it was crazy how good they were in Golden State. So it's like, I think it's going to have a big like effect. We're going to see like who really wants it, and it's the same for anyone. So I don't think it's an excuse, but I think there's some teams that really ride that home wave, that home cooking, and even big players like LeBron who get booed everywhere he goes. And so now when he's at home, it's a little different, but now there's no crowd. So we're going to see, I feel like we're really going to see who are the big dogs,
You always hear about those practice legends. Like I remember when Michael Beasley was on the Heat, there was always these legendary stories about him breaking up LeBron one-on-one. So now all these practice legends got to put their money where their mouths are, because these are essentially like high stakes scrimmages that they're playing. There's no crowd, there's no nothing. It's just all about skill. So maybe there might be some unsung heroes that you realize that have some serious skills because they don't have to deal with the crowd.
Do any of you guys actually know how they're going to be doing, like, how there's obviously no home court, but are they going to maybe be doing the hardwood floors, like one day Celtics, one day Bucks? Are they going to be?
I think they're repainting the floors.
An advantage? It's going to be funny how they do that too. How are they going to do the game 1, 2, that different bracket at this point, that the first 2 games aren't in one, the next 2 are in the other? How are they going to, or is it just going to be hardwood floor?
Right. So there's still negotiations with it. I would assume they might even do, because they're trying to generate as much money as possible, they might just sell the court, and the highest bidder, whoever wants to sponsor the court, the NBA playoffs. I figured that's what I would do if I was the league. At this point, you're trying to generate as much revenue as possible. But you're right. That could play some effect. Psychologically, right? If you see you're the Celtics and you see green on the floor, it might help, I guess.
Of it too, when it's a game 7, and that game 7 is, whoever's court that is, that's your domain. You're like, there's no way that the Bulls are gonna win at the Jazz at home. It plays a huge effect. So we'll see.
Yeah, no. What I did want to say about that last point though is, I know as baseball players, I know you guys played professional, but we never played, in front of like 50,000 fans or anything. But even just to put it in a smaller perspective, just when your boys in the dugout are like hyped, right? We're in a 4-3 ball game and you got everybody hyped up, that does play a factor in it. You go up to the plate with a little bit more confidence. You kind of like, and for whatever reason, it ends up working out. Like you end up coming through a little bit more when you have that adrenaline, that hype behind you and in you and in you, like at the plate. So I wonder how that's gonna play out. Like I forgot who mentioned the Steph Curry deal. It's true, man. Like when they were going on those runs where he was just making buckets, man. Like he couldn't miss. I'm sure that the fans in some way played a role in that. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about was their schedule. So they're going to start on July 31st. Not sure why they're waiting that long, but they decided on July 31st, which is going to run into football season, the NFL and college football. And if the MLB gets their shit together, it'll run with the MLB season. Obviously, in a time where no franchise is getting stadium revenue, everybody's fighting for airtime on TV. Do you think it's smart on the NBA's part to want to play into October? And I don't know why they're waiting. I mean, shouldn't they like start the season a little bit earlier?
I think they're definitely going to take a hit on Saturdays and Sundays, and people are going to be excited for football, and you can't do anything about that. But, I mean, I think people are equally excited about the NBA starting. It's going to be a quick little play-in, and it's showtime, NBA, So every time the playoffs start, I think everyone likes to tune in. Me personally, I like to keep tabs on the regular season in all sports. But once every sport hits the playoffs, I'm on that sport. Yes, if another sport like, football or whatnot, I'll watch. But, I mean, I want to see, I'm not sure people want to see LeBron go down. People want to see Giannis. See, hey, is this Giannis going to win his ring right now? Is Kawhi going to do it again? And it's like, I think it's not going to hurt as much as we think. Football is only one day of the week.
Well, technically, football's 3 days of the week.
That's one game.
It's going to be Thursday. It's going to be Saturday for college.
Then the college, because there's a lot of on Saturdays, basketball is usually played at 3 p.m. ish. And LSU is playing against Florida State. Then Michigan State, that weekend of just the finals. Then the Sunday night, I believe, of the finals day is Vikings versus Seahawks, a huge NFC game. So, I don't know. You would have to really go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings and have all your TVs stacked up to really get, and the feel. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to affect it per se. I think that people are really excited to see this new format of basketball go through. And football is just going to stay, on the go. Nothing's really going to change as of now of how that season's going to start. So right now, with all the, people are going to be excited to see basketball and all this unfairness or all this realness that's, going to be happening.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be as bad of a drop ratings wise as we think, because obviously it's unintentional, but there has been a lot of build up for these playoffs. It's kind of like, I feel like I watched a show and now I'm like waiting for the last season to come out. Like we watched 2019-2020 season, and now the final season, which is where they decide the champion is going to come out. So I'm super excited, and I think people are just so starving for sports that they'll be able to watch football and basketball, and if we ever play again, maybe baseball too.
And speaking of Buffalo Wild Wings, we should have them do like the commercials. Maybe they could like turn out the lights in like the arena or something, so we could watch the other sport.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta disagree with you guys. I think that the NBA really playing during football season is just a terrible idea. I mean, unless they're playing on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, and on Fridays, like the way I see it, like if it's between a Monday night game and like an Eastern Conference Finals game, like I'm probably gonna watch the Monday night game. Not because I don't appreciate basketball or anything like that. In part, it's gonna be because I'm gonna see if I have anybody on my fantasy team playing. That's in part, but I don't know, man. Like for me, I would rather watch a football game on TV, because either way, like when I watch basketball, I want to see the best of the best, and I feel like if it's an Eastern Conference Finals, let's say the Bucks and the Raptors, like I don't give a shit about either team, man. Like I would rather see some football, see some guys get laid out, bro. Just That's what I'm saying. You know, like I don't know how they're gonna do with TV ratings, but I feel like unless your teams are actually in it, I don't think most cities will actually like be watching football over basketball in that sense.
What would you have them do?
I don't know, man. Like if I was the NBA, I thought, okay, so first of all, I thought whatever sport, whether it was basketball or baseball, they needed to come back as soon as possible, as early as July. And that's why I was bashing baseball earlier, because they missed a huge opportunity. Like baseball has lost so much popularity over the years because they're not over football and basketball. And like this was your one opportunity. Like everybody's home, everyone's craving sports, and you had this one opportunity to be the only thing on TV, and they choked. And now the NBA agreed to something, which is something the MLB hasn't done, but they're waiting until July. Like, why not start July 1st, get your regular season, and at least you're able to finish your season in September, where maybe your football teams, it's still early on, you're not really, unless you're playing like a rival or anything like that, you're not really like fully invested in football season yet. And I think the NBA kind of missed on that. But I don't know. I guess we'll see, man. There's nobody's going to any football games or anything like that this season. At least that's the plan right now. So if everybody's home, maybe the ratings will still be the same. But I think it'll have a huge impact.
Who watches the first round of the NBA anyway?
True. Well, I mean, if it's Zion and LeBron, there's gonna be people watching, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, but
This means that the next season is shorter, right?
So the plan, what I heard right now, is that the next NBA season would start on Christmas, which I think is pretty cool. Because then that allows like the entire football season to get out of the way, and then it's like, you're good. Like the rest of the time is yours. You just have to deal with NFL playoffs, but you do that anyways. Do any of you guys have any final thoughts?
I'm excited. I'm excited for sports to come back. You're right. Maybe time will tell. I mean, we're not really sure how the rating's going to look, what people are going to be more interested in when the time comes for the NBA Finals. But I'm just really excited, and I'm excited that the outcome this year is so up in the air because of all the different factors related to this virus and related to this new setup, that I'm genuinely intrigued. I might be even more intrigued this year than other years. How's that? That's how satisfied I am with the job that Adam Silver has done.
Yeah, I mean, and I think honestly, it's a good problem to have that we're talking about ratings. You know what? At least we have sports back. So that's good stuff. To be honest, it's a good problem. Hey, I get to watch Monday Night Football, or I get to watch this new playoff system that the NBA put together. So it is pretty cool.
It was the year of change for the NBA, starting from the All-Star game where they did that whole fourth quarter thing. That was the first time they had done something, and it was amazing. So I'm super excited to see, what comes out of this.
Yeah, guys, this is fucking awesome. First episode together, I think we did really, really well. It was great having you guys on. Dude, we're going to fucking kill it, man. I'm telling you right now, we're going to fucking kill it. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you for being a part of my family here. So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you again, bro, for having us.
Take care, guys. Good to meet you, Claudia.
Nice to meet you
Yeah,
guys.
nice meeting you.
Likewise.
That was Justin Garcia, Xian Planes Arteaga, and Claudia Ruiz. So fucking happy that I was able to bring these guys on board. So happy that they were, willing to come on board and join my staff. We're always trying to bring you the best content, and these guys were just such a great addition. I love their passion, love their desire to bring forward some better content. These guys are funny as hell, as you guys just saw. So really excited to have them on. But that's all for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel. Go ahead and do that right now. Until next time, I'm signing off.